there's a new tribal chief. The beast bursts Judgment Day and Bray Wyatt goes viral. These are my WrestleMania predictions for WrestleMania 2024. It is a big one. It is a 4-0, and I have 13 matches that you might see on that card that I'm excited to read out. I'm starting hot. Bray Wyatt versus Logan Paul. The Bray Wyatt character does not always fit in the wrestling world. Neither does Logan Paul. He is celebrity as celebrity does. Pair up this concept of a true horror character and a pure born and bred entertainer, and you have what I feel is absolute magic. You open WrestleMania with Bray Wyatt having stalked Logan Paul for months, finally catching his man and surrounding the ring with the Wyatt Six. You have got magic to be made. Also, I kind of love the idea of the Prime bottle having the top opened up, and as it turns out, it's not just KSI, it's KSI as a member of the Wyatt Six. You give me that, I will surrender and say that you are making magic again. First match, Bray Wyatt versus Logan Paul. No championship, pure grudge. Hopefully, while the lights are dimming at least a little bit on the WrestleMania world. You can make it happen. You know what a sunset is. Sort it out, WWE. Next up, Edge versus Austin Theory. Edge versus Austin Theory is a match similar in the making to Edge versus Grayson Waller, but Austin Theory is one of those I can't imagine skipping the card. It's also true of Edge, who I definitely can't imagine skipping the card. But Edge should be in a position now, as a much more experienced member of the roster, to be giving back. And I do feel that Edge should be giving back to the next generation who are on the way up. There is no value in giving back to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns already has more than you. He's already a much bigger name than you are. That's where we are right now. So give back to people like Austin Theory, Dominik Mysterio, Damian Priest, Grayson Waller. That's what I feel Edge should be doing. And much like the win over John Cena, give me another WrestleMania where Austin Theory wins over a big name. You want to talk big names? Let's talk two of the biggest in WWE who still for some reason are nowhere near championships. Give me Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. Drew McIntyre may find his way into the championship picture at this point in time. After all, they're at the moment trying to promise him big championship wins to convince him to sign a new deal. But Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, we've seen it before and I would love to see it again. We know how intense they can get, and under Triple H, there is an added element of hardcore. As much as I would love to see Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley versus Gunther, Gunther is being saved for later in the night, and you're going to want to see that one. For the Tag Team Championships, we have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Street Profits, but this is Bobby Lashley's Street Profits. Heel and having been built up against people like the New Day, absolutely crushing people along the way. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are essentially only holding the championships for the full year, WrestleMania to WrestleMania in this prediction, because one, injuries, and two, who else is actually going to be able to beat them? The Usos, who actually don't make this card for me. Uso versus Uso would likely be wrapped up beforehand, and they're going to be involved in the main event, let's just say that. For me, the Street Profits, newly heel under Bobby Lashley, are the perfect ones to claim that gold away from Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. For the Women's Tag Team Championships, which need to be on the card, I have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez staying as a tag team to ensure that Liv Morgan continues to pick up decent wins and decent showings despite her current injury, versus Bayley and Dakota Kai. This is what Damage Control will be once Iyo Sky is doing other things. Bayley, for me, working with this group of three can really help them to develop and help to position them at the top of the card. Dakota Kai fully deserves a good spot at WrestleMania, and I think this is a perfect position for all four women. Plus, it really does help elevate those tag team championships, which, given how cursed they are at the moment, they desperately need it. Staying with the women's division, a non-championship match. Charlotte Flair will take on Bianca Belair, but this is Bobby Lashley's factions, Bianca Belair. Heel as she is being sort of portrayed at the moment, we are definitely building towards a reveal of a heel Bianca Belair, and I've got to be honest, I can't wait for it. against a Charlotte Flair who I feel the crowd will not necessarily be behind. I think Street Profits and Bianca Belair will both be getting a lot of love in new tweener, more aggressive roles, and I think Charlotte Flair taking a beating at WrestleMania will really put Bianca Belair into an even higher stratosphere without a championship. It will get her to the level of sort of the Randy Ortons, where you don't need the championship anymore, your name is enough. That will elevate Bianca to Charlotte's level. Next up, The Beast versus Judgment Day, Brock Lesnar versus Damian Priest. Damian Priest does not come into this as champion. It is a grudge match between the two, but it is more than enough reason for me to care. Judgment Day likely to be working against Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar briefly heel against Cody Rhodes. I personally would be moving Damian Priest more towards the face side and keeping Brock as a heel here. Essentially, Damian Priest eager to prove he can do it without Judgment Day. I'd have a couple of moments in the build to this where he's proven wrong, and then this match at WrestleMania where he's proven right. I then head into championship picture and championship domain. For the United States Championship, you'll know that Austin Theory has not been mentioned. I have the US champion LA Knight against AJ Styles. This is face versus face. I can see LA Knight claiming the championship from Austin Theory in the next couple of months. AJ Styles for me is a big name that will guarantee a great match out of LA Knight, really shine a spotlight and really make the United States Championship mean something extra. It's one of the only championship matches I have where the belts don't change hands. I very much think AJ Styles could be putting over LA Knight because I don't think championship wins are in AJ Styles' future, and I don't really see him signing too long a new contract if he even signs one. For the Intercontinental Championship, and this may be a little bit confusing, but bear with me because Gunther is not in this, I have the Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins taking on Dominik Mysterio and Grayson Waller in a triple threat match. Huge opportunity for Grayson Waller, a little bit of synergy, or symmetry I should say, for Dominik Mysterio, and let's just say Seth Rollins and Gunther undertake a bit of a championship change through this. I don't really know how it would happen, but I love the idea of it. I suspect Finn Balor may be involved at some point, but Seth Rollins comes into this as Intercontinental Champion because we have a different World Heavyweight Champion. The big four matches, the two women's championships and the two men's championships, are coming in now. I don't think anyone will be too surprised about the championship on the SmackDown side, that being the Women's World Championship. I have Iyo Sky, the current champion, defending against Asuka. Iyo Sky versus Asuka has been on the line for a while now. It was originally being pitched for SummerSlam, but they pushed it back towards WrestleMania time because they wanted to work towards Bianca Belair as a heel. Iyo Sky is currently the champion, will work against Bianca Belair, but will also be working with people such as Bayley. As I aforementioned, Damage Control would not be featuring Iyo Sky anymore. Iyo Sky versus Asuka is almost guaranteed quality. They have immense chemistry and have worked together plenty of times in the past. For me, Iyo Sky comes into this and leaves as champion. I don't think Asuka gets another World Championship run at any point in her career. The second World Championship, the Women's Heavyweight Championship, is Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. The fact that we haven't had Becky Lynch anywhere near Rhea Ripley so far is very telling for me of where they're heading. Rhea Ripley has been champion since WrestleMania. I don't think she'll be leaving without that belt. Becky Lynch is the only big name on Raw who is a genuine threat to Rhea Ripley. Shayna Baszler, who does not make the card, is being actively built at the moment. She'll be feuding with Becky Lynch over the next few months, but for WrestleMania, there is a date set between Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. All three available horsewomen would make the card, two of them in championship matches, one of them in a different match. All three of them would be losing in these predictions. For the World Heavyweight Championship, I have Gunther against Cody Rhodes. They made magic at this year's Royal Rumble for the brief match that they had in the final moments, and honestly I feel Gunther is en route to that immediately. Gunther has already picked up a clean win over Drew McIntyre. Think for a moment, comment below the last time that actually happened, that Drew McIntyre lost clean. and I've got Gunther against Cody Rhodes. That for me would be a hell of a main event for night one, though I do feel the night one main event would be Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. The night two main event and main event of WrestleMania in tribal combat would be Roman Reigns defending against Solo Sikoa. Jey Uso has now been vanquished, and while they may choose to revisit this, I think they move on at this point. It will be Uso versus Uso, which is going to be awkward for commentary and basically everyone involved, and I don't really want to see it. I'd love it if a tag team wasn't always 2 seconds away from breaking up. The Usos felt like the only one, outside of maybe the New Day, who have been broken up in the past, so it's difficult to really get behind that as a feud, but Solo Sikoa has been on the rise for a very long time, and he is the strongest possible contender for Roman Reigns, the championship, and the position as Tribal Chief. Let me know in the comments what your predictions are for next year's WrestleMania. Until then, check out the Bray Wyatt video explaining where he has been for the past few months, and check out my most recent video on LA Knight explaining exactly how we got to where we are and how high he can go. In the meantime, I've been Tom Colliehue, and thank you very much for watching.